Okay, so welcome to the Level Up Call series. This is number 6. I can't believe I had to ask the girls. I'm like, is it number 6 or what week are we on? Anyway, so congratulations. We always say this at the beginning. Congratulations for being here and committed to your business. So we're like a little bit of a smaller group. Some of the girls are going to catch the recording, but maybe what we'll do is before we start, I'm going to be talking. Actually, I'll just tell you what I'm going to be talking about, and then we'll maybe go around and just you guys can tell us a win for the week or just something that happened maybe that you want to share. So tonight I'm going to be talking mainly. The other girls can chime in about your vibrational frequency and how to get into that vibrational mode. Some people think you have to like do all these things and it's all about like pressure and like I have to achieve, I gotta. It's actually about surrendering and trusting the process. And it's a very hard thing to do. But once you get it and you get into that, then it's actually like miraculous things happen. So you're like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so why don't we just go around? Katrina, do you want to start us off tonight?
Sure. This week was kind of slow. Um, just like with everything, I had like not a lot of motivation because I injured myself last week. So I've just been like, I can't walk, so I feel like I just don't want to do anything. Um, so like for me, a win would just be that I actually like did all my reach outs and all my tasks and everything, even though I like everything's just not, I've not really felt like doing anything. So it's been good that I actually was able to. I had a couple weird messages too that just like threw me. Like I had to message Brittany. I was like, can I block this person or do I have to respond? Because like it was just so weird. So that threw me too. I was like, I don't even want to do any more reach outs today because it was just so like it was just a week. But I got through it. So that's like my way. Yeah.
Well, good for you. And just know that like we all have those weeks, right? Like, oh my gosh, there's been weeks in my business, like the other girls are nodding, where you're like, it's like taking me like to be like, Jenna, do the work, and it's really, it can be really hard. So don't feel like that is don't feel like by saying that, you're like, oh, I don't even want to tell them. Like, that's a very normal thing. So good for you for actually pushing through and doing what you didn't feel like doing. Okay. What about you, Kalina? Can you give us a win and a whatever?
So I would say kind of the same thing as Katrina. It's been a slow week and a lot of reach outs that like a lot of no's, right? So it was just like, just getting over that and be like, keep going, it works, and you gotta just keep pushing through. And then that one that I got yesterday, which kind of threw me, and I was kind of waiting, and then I just sent the voice message, and I was like, kind of talked to her a little bit, and she's actually family, kind of like Ryan's side, but so I guess chatting with her a little bit more would be my win, and just kind of pushing through the week. And I don't know, this week kind of felt heavy. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but like it just like the end of the month was good, right? And then the beginning of the month started good. And then this is like that weird. And like I've been doing a lot of chickenless asks. So I think I'm gonna go and try and mix it up a little bit. I don't know if it's that, but it's just yeah. That's kind of my week.
I don't know. I'm looking at the other RVPs thinking, okay, so when you go through a month that's like crazy like that, you get what's called I don't know how to like label this, but like we've all been there, where it's like the next month you're like, okay, like here we go. And that's the mentality that you want. Of course, you don't want to be like, okay, it's June. June's gonna suck. No one wants that. But what happens is June isn't May. And this is the business in Arbonne. And June, if I was to look back, June, all my Junes, I don't want to say this out loud, but they're horrific. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it might not be May, it's June. So but we get off this like high of like this crazy, amazing, you have your best month. A lot of people have their best month and that's fantastic. But then you have yourself set on like that again. And it's like, but now I'm here. Oh my gosh, what's happening? But it's okay. Like it's 100% okay. And of course, if people are going for promotions or they're in qual, you really do want to push. You're not going to just say like, okay, that's it. But it's just the ebbs and flows of the business. And it's honestly just like summertime takes a little dip now, not for everyone, but that's if you had it like a chart and you could see when our like peak months are and then when it kind of dips. But do you guys, yeah, can you explain?
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. And it's probably not as bad as you think. It's just that you just came off of a high, so it feels worse than it is. That's all. And so it's kind of like a hangover, right? Like, but that's all. So you just keep going like you guys are doing. Also, I don't know if you guys believe in this, but I have to mention this because it's a repetitive message, but we're going through Mercury retrograde right now. And what I've noticed, like every time we go through Mercury retrograde, I get messages like, I just don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm getting weird messages. Mercury retrograde typically is hard communication. So we're having a hard time communicating and people are having a hard time communicating back to us. So it like, there's that piece that we're also in right now, if you believe in astrology.
Leave it to the math teacher to talk us through that one.
That's all Bobby Joe teaching me about Mercury retrograde, because thank goodness she did, because there's something about understanding why something's happening. All of a sudden it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Kayla.
So something good is I did get a new PC from my asks last week. So that was nice. It's always nice when that comes around. But I also feel like I was having a bit of struggle city this week. This morning I still had like, I don't know, I think 10 of my asks to do. And I was just having like a terrible day at work. So many different nurses were coming to me, just like dumping all this random crap on me and like unloading their stuff on me. And I was so frustrated and I was so close to just not even finishing for this week. Like I was so close to being like, whatever, I just won't do it this week and I'll just be out of the challenge, like whatever. I was in like such a mood and then, but I just like made myself do it anyways. And now I'm obviously so glad that I did.
That's awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, honestly, like you guys are all sort of feeling the same thing, and it might exactly what you said, Brooke. It might be that Mercury retrograde. People are just kind of feeling a little bit blah, but I think things are going to really change too with just the way Ontario is moving. You know, like people are now being able to be like free. Like it really is going to change. I think the frequency, if you will, if we're going to be talking about that tonight, I think it's really going to change. We're going to see big changes and Arbonne is going to really start to ramp up. So with that said, where do you want to be when this CEO is going to take us? Like, where do you want to be? Right? I keep asking myself that. I keep saying to myself, Jenna, you could like, you know, just like do the bare minimal for the summer, or you can like ramp things up. And then in the fall, you can like, we can all have so many nation calls and region calls and all the things, right? Okay, so without any further ado, we'll just dive right in. I don't have anything like crazy like to show you or anything like that. Tonight's going to be a little bit more, and I asked Britt and Brooke if this would be okay, but I think that I have like a strong, like I have a very strong spiritual kind of connection with, and I'm going to refer to like God or the universe or higher power. I don't know what like you believe in. Everyone has their own beliefs, and that is completely okay. So I'm just going to refer to God as God, because that's just what I do. So you can refer to that as whatever you want. But I am going to talk to you a little bit about my a few different scenarios that has happened in my life and how I've overcome them, and how that is going to be, that's also relatable to you guys as well. And this is personal and business a little bit. But I also just want to talk about like that vibrational frequency, that getting into that vortex. What does that even mean? What are you even talking about? Some people think this is like woo woo for them, but I encourage you, if you're not already listening, and you don't have to do this, you have to be in the mood for this kind of stuff. But Abraham Hicks, if you don't have her podcast, download it. I highly suggest you do, because they have short little 10-minute segments, and it might just be something that you need to hear, or maybe you don't have a ton of time. You can pop that on. I was actually going to bring it up on my phone so you could see what the cover looks like. So this is what it looks like. Can you see that okay? And so she's wonderful, and she's, like I said, a little bit out there, but I encourage you to take a listen, because there might be something that you really resonate with. I listen to her every single day, and I've really found that when I started listening, I noticed changes happening. I noticed, like, we're all doing PG, right? But some PG isn't right for you at that time. So I always, like, Brooke would always say to me, like, maybe, because I would feel like I was in a funk, or I would feel like, oh, like something just doesn't feel good, or the energy isn't good. And it was because I wasn't reading or listening to the right PG. So I was reading something that someone said, like, read that book, it's so good. And I was like, I don't really find this that good. Like, it's not doing anything for me. So if you're ever feeling that way, just switch up your PG. You don't have to finish the book you're reading. If it's not doing anything for you, go to another book or go listen to something else. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, right. It took you a long time to learn that. And it did for me too. Like, I thought that I needed to be reading the book that everyone in Arbonne was reading. No, that's not how it works. You need to be reading something that you know, when you're reading something or listening to something, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like, I feel different. Like, and then if you feel like that, then listen to more of that podcast, whoever that is, Trent Shelton, if it's, whoever, listen to more, or like scroll through. And this is what I usually do, is I usually pick out like the heading that I feel like I need to hear. Like, so if a heading sticks out to you, pop it on. So Abraham always talks about, what you think about, you bring about. And the more like, where your energy goes, or where how's that saying going? Wherever your energy goes, something flows, or something like that. I'm messing that up. I'm like the worst for those things. But so we want to always be in like attraction mode. We don't want to be forcing things. And I feel like sometimes in this business, we can fall into that trap quite easily, because if you're feeling the pressure of like promoting to the next level, let's just talk about that for a second. That is a huge pressure, and it doesn't have to be, but we put so much pressure on ourselves to get to, like, so that's why we have these goals, right? Goals don't have to be accomplished by like you're not going to say, if I'm not an MVP by January 1st, I'm quitting Arbonne, right? But we have these goals to keep us working towards something greater than what we have right now. So they are important, but they don't have to be an end all be all. So that's really important to know and feel. So I feel like if you are like surrendering and doing the PG and getting yourself in alignment and knowing and trusting your higher power, that everything is going to work out for the best for you at the right time, then you automatically, like, just think about that. Close your eyes, or just think about that. Just think whatever you might be stressing about right now, whether it's your work, whether it's you have a partner that you're not getting along with, whether you don't have a partner and you want a partner, whether you, I'm talking about business and personal, so I hope you guys are okay with this. Whether it's your children are driving you absolutely crazy and they're stressing you out and you don't know how to like navigate that. Whether it's I've been an area manager, or I've been a district manager for like a year and I don't know why I'm not an area manager yet. Like, why are we, like, what is it that's stressing you out? Now, take whatever's stressing you out and just close your eyes and say to yourself, I know that God has my back and everything is going to work out better than I could have ever imagined. As soon as I started doing that,
you're making me cry, Jenna.
Well, I'm glad. I'm sorry, but I'm glad. Okay, so do you notice the difference? It doesn't matter if you are, okay, so it doesn't matter. The other thing that comes into play here is like keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with what everyone else is doing and looking here and scrolling there and blah, 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 and comparing here. All you have to know is that you're good enough. You will get through whatever you're getting through. You will be successful, and God has your back. There's a really good book by Gabby Bernstein, and it is The Universe Has Your Back. And it's an excellent book. I encourage you to read that. And I also love The Super Attractor. by Gabrielle Bernstein. Bernstein. I'm saying that. I think I'm saying that right. But I read her book when I went to Mexico last week. That's hilarious. Last year, and I was obsessed. Like, I remember I actually sat beside Caitlin Hamilton, and I was like, we were reading the same book, and she's like, isn't it incredible? And I was like, I love this book so much. So those are really good books to read if you haven't read them. So I'm so sorry, Kalina, for making you cry. Usually I get like super emotional talking about this stuff, but I've come a long way. So I'm like, I am not that triggered anymore. But so I'm going to give you a couple examples of like things, and I only have like 10 minutes here, so I'm going to try to get through this. But so I keep saying surrender. And so I know this is coming early. I was going to say this at the end, but the homework, I'm going to just say it now because I feel like it. The homework that I want you guys to do is actually find your song. Like when I say find your song, I want you guys to find a song that puts you into like an amazing mood. And you know what? You could actually find two songs because I have two songs. I have a let's go, it's go time, time to work, time to slay, and it is by Trick Daddy, and it has a lot of swear words, but it's like, let's go, and it just gets me like, oh, I'm like, okay. And then I have a song that I will like walk to, like in the evening, if it's a sunset, I play this song, and it makes me bawl every time I hear it, and it's called Surrender by Natalie Taylor. If you have not heard it, I suggest you listen to it because I don't know, maybe it won't do anything for you, but it did something for me. So I'll relate to how it came about. So last year I had to find a home. I was going through a divorce and separation with my ex-husband. And I was really in a very challenging place because I was faced with so many uncertainties. I had to move. I didn't know where I was going to move. I didn't even know if I could afford what I wanted to live in. And so many things were like flooding through my brain. But honestly, God's plan, and God had my back when he put me in this house that I'm in right now through Megan Fleming. She saw someone hammering in a private sale sign for this house. And she called me and said, Jenna, you need to call this number right now. It's a private sale. And I went over that next morning, and they met me and Pearson. And I don't know if they felt bad because I was a single mom or what, but they sold me this house in that moment. And I actually believe that I just know that God was like, Jenna, Meg, like, and Meg, like to this day, I love Megan so much for doing doing this, because I would never, if I hadn't bought this house at this time, I don't even know where I would be because the market went crazy after that. And I just, yeah. So honestly, I know it was God, and I know it was like, I know my freaking name that he will take care of me no matter what. And to have that like confidence in something higher power than we is truly what I cling to and what I believe has given me all the success and rewards and blessings in my life. So that's just one scenario. And then I just sit in this gratitude. And that's the other thing, you guys, is the PG, being in alignment and gratitude. And honestly, just trusting that everything's going to be okay. If you can do all those things, there's no more pressure. And you just enjoy the process, and you enjoy your business, and you can just let everything kind of just, okay. So that was the one example. The second example is like 4 years ago when I didn't have a team. So I was about a year and a half into my business. And I remember, like Brooke knows, I was like, I don't have a team. I need a team. I need a team. I need a team. And I kept saying that. And it's like, I remember it's like changing your verbiage, right? Like, and changing the way you think. You don't need anything. What you need to do is relax and know that it's going to happen, put in the work, and trust the process and surrender. And then God goes, okay, you're not resisting anymore. Okay, go on through. It's like this rite of passage, right? Like, it's like this, like, you can't keep hitting your head against a wall. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. But as soon as you just like release all resistance, you immediately, like, he immediately sees that and feels that. And then all of a sudden things just start coming. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How did this happen? Oh my gosh. So I remember sitting in my bathtub. It was in November. It was like a dreary day. And I was like, I am sponsoring 5 new business builders in the next like month. And I was like, I'm putting it out there. And there was no pressure. I was just like, I just know I am. And I can't even explain it to you, but I did. I'm not even kidding. In December, I sponsored 5 business builders and I earned AIT that year. And I don't even know, or no, I didn't. Sorry, that was a lie. I went area manager. So it was December and I was an area manager by April 1st when I went back. That was the day I went back from mat leave. And I was like, I'm going to be an area by the time I go back to work. And I was. So I just knew, like I knew. And then I did this again just this December. I don't know what it is with November and December's, but I just sponsored 4 business builders and they all promoted to district and I earned AIT. And right before that, I said, I'm going to sponsor. And it's not just about saying I'm going to sponsor. It's about feeling the feeling of already sponsoring. So if you don't feel what you want, or if you're not feeling what you already think you have, that's a huge game changer. So I want you guys to feel like you're already regional vice presidents. Feel what it's going to be like to drive in that car. And it's not just about the car. It's about the freaking blood, sweat, tears, all the things, the grit, the determination. When you open that car door every time, I remember feeling like, I freaking worked for this. And so you have to feel that stuff. You have to feel what it feels like to have this perfect marriage. I mean, perfect doesn't exist. Give me a break. But what does it feel like to have a partner that just looks at you and says, I freaking adore you? Feel that, right? Feel that. And everything will just like, and this is my last example. And this is a bit more personal. So I have been single. I've kind of dated, whatever. Sometimes I feel like I should date girls. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. That's a joke. But I just have to say, because like, whatever, I don't know. So I don't know all of you that well, but some of you are like married, obviously. Some are maybe not. Some are dating. I don't know. So I have just been saying to myself, like, I'm such a good person. Like, I have a big heart and I'm a hard worker and I have all my ducks in a row. Why, why, I just don't understand, like, why people don't see that. Like, what is wrong with, like, I don't get it. And so you date these people, whatever. And then it's like, you know what? It's not about me, or it's not about you sometimes. Sometimes it's about the other person and them having like hurt people, right? You hear that a lot. So when someone's hurt, all they know how to do is hurt other people. And it's a really hard thing for someone that's like not like that to experience over and over again. And it kind of beats you. Like, you feel like you're getting beat up. So I just like, honestly, it's weird to me because like I've attracted like in the last couple of years, I've been attracting people and dated certain people. And then it's funny because I realize that I'm like getting closer to a better person, to like someone more I'm more in like alignment with. So it's kind of crazy because I'm like, oh my God. And I don't know, maybe I'm going on a tangent, but I'm like, I like 2 years ago I dated that person. Oh my God, I can't believe I did. Like, what was I thinking? And then the last person, I'm like, I thought he was like so amazing. And then it was like, oh God, no. And then, but now it's like, I'm getting closer. I feel closer to like getting to that person that's like a good person. And you kind of have to weed through like a lot of stuff to get like to that like feeling of like, okay, but you know what? This is the key message here. If it doesn't work out, let's just say, like, I'm not speaking about any certain person, but like, let's just say you're with someone and you're like, oh my God, this is so wonderful. Oh my God. You have to know that if it doesn't work out, or let's just make this example of like in your business, if you go for area or region and you call and you don't promote the next month, you have to know that something better is meant for you, or something better timing is coming your way. So if you just know that everything's going to be okay, you immediately feel less pressure. So then you can enjoy the journey, right? Like, think about that. Like, I'm like totally okay if like the person that I'm with right now, if it works, great. If it doesn't, that's great too, because I know that I'm good. And I know I'm happy, I've been on my own. Like, I just think that takes out so much pressure, and I just feel like it frees up so much energy to like do the things that are going to really serve you. So that's basically all I have. I know I was kind of all over the place a little bit, but I just wanted to give you snippets of examples of how I've applied surrendering, less pressure, knowing everything's going to work out for the greater good for you. And it honestly just takes so much pressure away when you operate from that standpoint. So that's all I have. I'm so sorry, Kalina, for making you cry. But that's a good thing. That means it hit something.
Can I say, I just want to say, like, one time when it was clear to me watching Jenna surrender was when she was promoting to regional vice president, because it was a very, very stressful final month, because you don't, like, anybody who's ever experienced promotion kind of knows this feeling, like you don't know what's happening, nothing's for sure, you're just but when you promote to regional vice president, there's a lot not in your control, and you have to learn to just surrender and let it happen. But that's the hardest time to do it, because you want it so bad, like, but like Jenna said, like you have no choice but to just let it be and let it happen, work your butt off, control what you can control, and let everything fall into place. And we watched Jenna do that when she went region. I remember having those conversations with you.
Yeah, and this is all about like the right timing. It really is, because I remember feeling like I was going to go for region before that, and it just didn't feel right. And then the time that I did go to promote to region, it was in October. I knew, so this is crazy. I knew I was going to promote to regional vice president, but I didn't have a freaking clue how. But I knew I was like, I know I am. God told me this morning, you're going to be.
Can you just talk about your vision board for a second? That date?
Oh yeah.
Talk about universe. God.
Yeah, so
talk about that.
Yeah, that's right, Britt. I put like the January before I promoted, I did up my car party invitation, and I picked out I had white roses at my car party. White roses were on my vision board. I had like the greenery, so it was like a wintry car party sort of. And the date that I had for my car party was November 27th, I think. 2000 and whatever the year it was. What year are we in? 19 or something. And my car party was November 28th. Like almost to the day. Like crazy. So crazy.
Yeah. I can speak to the timing piece too, though. Like, remember, I attempted, I was forcing the qual for regional vice president in January of last year, and we were 7K away. That was the closest I had ever gotten. We were all sitting around my kitchen table. Jenna was at my house, a couple of the girls from my team, Kayla was there. And I was just like, I've said, this is happening. This has to happen. This has to happen. And Jenna was just, thank God. She was just like, but Britt, does it? Like, does it have to happen? Like, it doesn't have to happen. And it was not the time. And that surrendering piece was massive, because February and March, I had to step back a little bit and just do that one thing each day that moved my business forward. And then all of a sudden, April was like, what is going on right now? Like, oh my God, the qual and the promotion was just insane. It was insane. And it was just timing. It was, the universe. It had my back. I knew it was going to happen when it was time to happen. And I just let it go. And as soon as I did that, everything came together. It was wicked.
Less resistance. Just think, less resistance. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.